Sexy Business Team. I'm here with my beautiful co-host,
Kristi Bridges from One Moment Wiser.
We are at the Hope to Hope conference, and we are super excited about the fourth day. This is day 4 already.
Oh, it's been good.
It has been so good. If you haven't had a chance to watch, you need to go back and watch, because the people that we have had on, we are in awe of. We are just like amazed that we have such cool peeps.
Such a variety of experiences and a variety of creative endeavors. I am just impressed that people come up with the ideas that they come up with to help other people.
Yes. And then the next guest, I am super excited. I should say guests. I am super excited about, because they are not only awesome, but they are part of my family, and I love that part. It is actually my cousin, Rebecca Chapman, and Jenny, her daughter, who are on this session to talk about a book that she wrote. So welcome, girls.
Thank you. Good to be here.
We're so glad you were able to. Everybody's schedules are so busy, and I know you're super busy, but I want to talk to you about your book. I want to let the world know what's possible. I think that's the thing. What's possible? Can you show them the book? And tell them about it. Tell them what the book is about.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the name of the book is The Adventures of Rowdy Squirrel. And when my children were young, I told them stories about a little squirrel that played in our yard. And so it's just a compilation of all of those stories that I told them.
Now tell them why you told the stories about the squirrel.
Oh, well, we lived in a trailer park, and we didn't have any pets. And so there was a little squirrel that would run the branches of the trees in our yard. And so we just kind of made him our pet. And my daughter, Lenny, when she was 2, she named him Rowdy. And so we just would watch Rowdy Squirrel, and I would tell her stories every evening whenever I tucked her into bed.
I love it. You don't have to feed him. You don't have to take him for walks. You don't have to worry about him sleeping with the kid.
So what motivated you at this point to do the book? Because, it's been Lenny's 19.
Yeah.
Married. I mean, she's all grown up, or at least she thinks she is.
Yeah. Well, when she left home, I wanted to send these stories with her, so to speak. And so that's what motivated me to put it into a book. And Jenny loves to draw, and so she illustrated it for me, and that just made the dream come true,
That is fantastic. So on the inside of the book, is it black and white, or is it color like the front?
It's color. It's color. Wow. I'll let her show you.
Yeah.
Here's a picture of the kids when they were little, and then a picture of Rowdy. He's in the branches of the tree. That's the actual Rowdy squirrel that was outside her window.
Oh, how cool!
And Jenny showed them some of the illustrations that you did.
Yeah. I think it's so neat that you guys got to do this together.
Mm-hmm. It was a blast.
Those experiences, you can't ever. I mean, you just can't top that. What were you going to say?
Here's one of the illustrations that she did.
Oh, you're very talented.
That's Rowdy, and that's his pal Ranger Rabbit.
Awesome.
So, Jenny, how long have you been drawing?
As long as I've been able to hold up a pencil.
Did you just know you liked it? Did it just come natural?
More like practice.
Practice?
She has a natural gift, but she's just humble.
Everything takes practice. We had an artist on yesterday that a little bit older than you, but he talked about when he first started drawing and first realized that it was something he enjoyed doing. So it's kind of neat to watch that development process. You did a good job.
Thank you.
And you know how he figured out he wanted to draw? Is he was in kindergarten, and if he would paint, he got to not take a nap. thought that was so cute. And now he's painting like huge murals for cities and a cathedral ceiling. I mean, he's doing all these big and amazing things. But it came from he got to get out of a nap.
He said there were times that he felt kind of like the oddball, you know, like he didn't fit in. But boy, I tell you what, it's people just flock to him because he does amazing work now. So we all go through those times. I bet, Jenny, you've never felt like you didn't fit in, right? No gorgeous 16-year-old girl ever feels like that.
Do you have could you oh, I'm so sorry. I was trying to like make a comment on the thing and my sound came on. So sorry. So do you plan to do more books? Do you plan to do more illustrations?
We plan to have a sequel, yes. In this book, Rowdy meets up with a bully at school. And so he learns not only the importance of his authorities, like his teachers, how they can help him, but he also learns the value of having a friend like Ranger who will stand with him. And he finds his voice. And so in our next book, we want to redeem the bully. We want Bully to get a new name. So that's our future plans, is to have the sequel actually maybe look at what makes Bully do what he does, and then, and redeem him in that one. So
I'm so glad you're doing that.
Yes. That is awesome. So tell us where anyone listening can go and get this, because I know people will want to get it for their kids and for their grandkids. Where can they go to get the book?
It's on sale at Barnes & Noble and also on Amazon.
Okay.
And it's Rowdy Squirrel.
Adventures?
Yes, The Adventures of Rowdy Squirrel.
Gotcha.
Okay. Miss Connie will probably find it and get it in the comments. She's working on it now.
She's pretty handy that way. So how did you end up with your book on Amazon? Now, we do book to business, so we might know, but our listeners don't all know. How did this work out for you?
Well, we went through a firm called Christian Faith Publishing. And so they built our book for us, worked with us, and just took us step by step through it. And then they put it on sale on Amazon and Barnes & Noble for us.
Fantastic.
That's awesome. Now, you and I know that we have technical challenges. We just do. Okay. And so someone that's wanting to write a book, if you have technical challenges, that doesn't have to stop you.
That's right.
Oh, no. No, not at all. I'm not very good, with technology, but they were very nice. They would call me. I could call them on the phone. They would answer my questions. We went through email, and I even took the original manuscript and just mailed it to them. So, I mean, people will work with you. They're good people.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. I can't wait for the next book to come out. That's what I'm waiting for.
Now, you actually, I remember when we were talking earlier, you said you kind of thought you were just doing this on your own, and you didn't really think any publishers would pick up on this. So who encouraged you to do that?
My husband did. He told me I ought to send it and have him look at it. And so I just put it in an envelope and threw it in the mailbox before I could, change my mind.
Before you could change your mind. I love that. I love that he's supportive.
He is very supportive. He's always been, and he's everything to me.
How long have you guys been together?
20 years.
20 years. I'm just about to celebrate my 20th anniversary, so it is wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're like, it doesn't feel that long.
I know. It doesn't to me either.
I'm going to go back again, though, and say you don't even look old enough to have been married for,
I know.
over half that time.
Oh, well, thank you, Kim.
If I didn't know firsthand, I'm not sure I would believe you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, Jenny, now tell me what you're going to aspire to do after this, because you've got another book to illustrate apparently, but what else are you planning on doing?
Zoo veterinarian.
Are you? That's awesome. So the squirrel turned into all kinds of animals.
Yes, let's see, there's a rabbit and there's a beaver in the story. And there's even a flying squirrel.
I love it.
Awesome.
I love it. Could you share with us like maybe a tidbit of one of the stories?
Oh, sure. Which one do you want to do? She's looking through the book to see which one she wants to do.
Sure.
Yeah, pick your favorite, Jenny.
I'm sorry, could you say that again?
Just tell her to pick her favorite.
Oh, okay. Well, she says that chapter 2, called Truth or Dare, is her favorite. And show them the picture in that one with him being in the water bucket. In this story, Rowdy gets into the dog's water bucket inside the dog's pen.
Oh.
He decides he's going to go swimming. And the horses are trying to talk him out of it, tell him that's not a good idea. That's a lot of risk for just a little bit of fun. And so he learns a big lesson in that one when the dog nearly gets him. So.
Oh. Wow. So, I'm privy because I obviously have a copy. And
yes.
And I've gotten a chance to read it. But I think one of the things that anyone listening needs to know is they do have lessons and, morals behind the story. It's not just for fun. While it's super fun, it still has something that they can pick up without you being preachy to them. I mean, I think that that's one of the things, kids don't want you to tell them what to do all the time. Mm-hmm. But if you tell them in a story, it opens their mind to listening, I think.
Yeah.
Yes. That comes from my mother. My mother did that with me as a child. She would tell me stories, and unbeknownst to me, she was teaching me a life lesson. And it just became real to me in such a way that I wanted to hang on to that.
I love that you're passing it down, like that you're paying it forward.
Well, those characters become our friends too, and we want to be like our friends. Right. Whereas, I like that you've got generations of that. Are you going to do this someday for your kids, Jenny?
Yeah.
Mama started something pretty big.
That makes my heart sing.
Well, I think it's sweet because, just the fact that it was really for a love of your babies that you told those stories. But then you had no idea all those years ago where it would go. And I want to challenge you with the thought, too, you still don't have any idea where it's going. Because I think it's bigger than what you think it is.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you. I'm just blessed.
Yes. But I think that more stories to come, and bullying is it's just such a horrible thing, and so many kids go through it and they don't know how to go through it.
Yeah. Well, every generation goes through it and they think they're the only ones that mom and dad aren't going to understand or whatever, and not realizing that we went through the same thing. And having a character that lives through it right in front of them is going to be really helpful.
Yes. And it's all about, standing in your corner and just doing the right thing, and realizing that it matters.
It does.
Yeah. All those decisions matter.
Yeah.
Wow. That is so awesome.
Story.
What?
Jenny's going to read us a story.
Oh, yes.
Truth or dare. You're going to read the story. I put her on the spot. She's wondering if you would let me read it.
Jenny! I understand.
Rowdy's eyes darted warily back and forth, surveying the yard ahead. He spotted the big dog asleep in his pen. Today was going to be Rowdy's biggest adventure ever. He was going swimming in Bowser's water bucket. He hadn't given a lot of thought to this, really. If he had, he would have come up with 100 reasons not to go forward with his plan. Bowser the Great Dane could eat a squirrel for a snack, for one, and never trim his appetite. Furthermore, if his mother found out about his scheme, she would ground him for a month. But Rowdy, oblivious to reason, tiptoed on top of the fence and slinked his way to the bucket. When he was parallel to it, he jumped sideways and landed on the bucket's edge, easing his way over it into the water. Ah, the water was the perfect temperature. He rested his paws on the edge and let his body float. He didn't take his eyes off Bowser. He was still asleep on his side. One ear flopped over an eye, and his big side slowly raising and lowering with each breath. Coco the cat rested on top of the barn roof, watching intently. She was tempted to hiss and wake Bowser, but decided it might be more entertaining to just let this play out. She yawned, stretched her paws, and squinted into the morning sun. It would be feeding time soon. Rowdy waited a while, kicking his feet and swishing his tail back and forth. He watched the horses in the pasture next door. After a few minutes, he turned over onto his back and floated around, enjoying the sunshine and the birds singing. This was so relaxing. It deserved to be a morning ritual. He closed his eyes and smiled. Suddenly, a tidal wave hit him and knocked him over the side of the bucket. The water carried him through the squares of the fence and just inches away from Bowser's snapping fangs and deafening barks. Rowdy realized that the dog had knocked over the bucket in his attempt to grab him. Rowdy gasped and scurried away as fast as he could. He panted at the edge of the yard, watching as the dog tried in vain to scale the fence of his pen. Coco bounded off the barn roof, landed swiftly on the bushes below. She climbed down and sashayed by the pen, meowing in her teasing way. Bowser went absolutely nuts. Rowdy had to grin. This would be an unforgettable morning in the life of that lazy dog. He chuckled when he heard the big man holler from the house, "Hush now!" He scampered over to join the horses in the pasture. Sandy May the palomino was munching grass, while Midnight the black gelding picked leaves off the elm tree. "Hey guys," Rowdy called, "how about a ride this morning?" "Why not?" neighed Sandy May. She lowered her head, and Rowdy raced up her neck and sat on her back. He held on tight to a piece of her mane with his paws, then grabbed a mouthful of hair in his teeth and bit down hard. Sandy didn't mind. She had suggested that to him on one of his earlier rides when he had fallen off. It worked really well, since Sandy took it easy when she carried Rowdy. Midnight watched them munching on his leaves. Sandy took Rowdy around the fence, and in his mind, Rowdy was riding the trails and watching for stagecoach robbers. He pretended to shoot a few behind them. "It's a good thing we have you to keep us safe," Sandy played along. "The passengers on this stage appreciate your service." Rowdy dismounted and pretended to tip his hat. "Anything for you, lady." He winked and picked a daisy to put in her mane. Sandy neighed happily and did a little trotting dance for Rowdy. He clapped his paws and laughed. Midnight walked over and sniffed Rowdy's tail. "I saw that old Bowser almost got you." He gestured with his hoof over to the dog's pen. "I think he's still sore about it." "Ah," Rowdy tossed his head to dismiss the thought. "He's all bark and no bite." "This time," Midnight warned. "Next time you might not escape from him so quickly." Rowdy looked into the steady eyes of the wise horse. It made him pause to question himself a little. He admired the horse's speed and strength. Midnight meant what he said. He knew that Rowdy underestimated the dog. Rowdy was too young and inexperienced to understand the risk he was taking. "There are some things that seem fun, but the risks outweigh the amusement," said the horse gravely. Coco came over and scratched her nails on the oak tree next to them. "You know what would really be entertaining?" the black and white cat meowed. "If you were to get on top of the barn roof and tease him from the peak. I would pay to see that." Rowdy's ears perked up. "Just what did you have in mind?" he replied with a smile. "Humph!" Midnight bellowed. Rowdy ignored him. Coco raised her chin. "That depends. If you did that, I would share my food with you for a week. But," she challenged, "if you were to walk the edge of the guttering and really drive him crazy, I would sneak you some sweet feed from the barn." That did it. There was no way Rowdy was going to resist this dare. The cat lay over on her side with a satisfied smirk. And then it goes into the chapter called Learning the Hard Way, where he goes over and tries to tease the dog from the roof of the barn.
Oh my goodness, that is so good though.
She is a bad influence.
Oh, you know cats, always bad influence.
That is really, really good though.
Yes.
Really good.
I was hooked.
Yeah. I think, there's so many books out there that don't have any qualities of, like the moral part,
Mm-hmm.
you can get yourself into trouble listening to kiddies that tell you to do things.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I think that is amazing that you have put it in a fun way so that kids want to hear it
Yes.
and they want to have,
I was just having a blast. I'm riding on the back of a horse. I'm swimming in dog water, which wasn't quite. I'll leave that to Rowdy.
You must be being a good influence on Kristi too.
Stagecoach Robert, I was there. That was great.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Imagination just like
Thank
you.
Well, okay, so what's the time frame for when we get the next one?
Yeah.
Well, we're working on it right now. I'm really not sure. I know it would probably take me, I would say, at least until, I'm hoping for, I'll just put that out here like this. I'm hoping for next spring at the latest. So.
Cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, because I know that anybody that gets it and reads it, I've already got it and read it. So I know that anybody that gets it and reads it is going to want more.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I can't wait to send this to my nephew. I am so going to have to get a copy.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today. This conference,
I appreciate you having us.
this conference came from, Justin passing away 17 years ago. And I look at that and I think his passing actually created something in me that created a platform to do this conference. So, I mean, it's near and dear to me that, especially you being my cousin and being family, that you be on this one. He would have been 30 on Wednesday. And the fact that, we can open up something like this and help all the kids have better opportunities for choices, and understand things through Rowdy. I love it, through Rowdy. Thank you so much for being on with us.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
And Jenny, don't you stop being a vet. I need a puppy. This is just, I'm putting this out there. I need a puppy. And when I have a puppy, I want you to be ready to help me with it.
Okay.
She's going to be working on elephants. You said a zoo? Did you say a zoo vet? Oh my gosh. Okay, and you guys live sort of near me, and I go out to Mohawk all the time. They actually, out at the zoo, they have volunteers come in and build, those backgrounds with the big paper mache rocks and stuff like that around where the zoo animals go. They actually use volunteers to build those things. It'd be a good way in.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Well, thank you.
So nice to
Have a
meet
great day.
Well, thank you for coming and joining the Hope to Hope conference. This was an awesome interview with Rebecca and Jenny Chapman, and I am grateful that you are here with me as my co-host this conference, because you definitely liven things up. She's a little firecracker.
It's so neat to meet your family.
Yes.
I'm like, yay,
Yes.
more Kim.
Oh no, that's how you thank God they're not. Thank you for co-hosting, Miss Connie. Thank you for being behind the scenes. Thank everybody that's behind the scenes. And I'm Kim White with the My Sexy Business team.
And I'm Kristi Bridges with One Moment Wiser.
And we'll be back with the next session at 10:30 Central, 11:30 Eastern, and 8:30 Vegas time. So, thank you guys. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, you too.